Interrompemos esse podcast para perguntar: quem você quer ser?
Designer, engenheira, pedagoga,
administrador.
Quer saber? O Senac EAD é nota máxima no MEC. Tem cursos de diversas áreas, com conteúdo elaborado por especialistas do mercado e professores mestres e doutores. Ainda tem o Senac Carreiras, conectando estudantes a vagas de emprego em todo o país. Saiba mais em ead.senac.br/graduação.
Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Clear.
Hey, it's Dr. Homebrew, everybody. I'm your host, Jason Petros, and with me are the two Brians of homebrewing, Brian 1 and Brian 2.
Which one am I?
Indistinguishable.
Exactly. Yes. They are, which one are you? I don't know. How about that?
Just call us Brian 1, Brian 2. We'll sort it out.
That's
kind of
right.
like thing 1, thing 2.
Right. Brian Shar and Mr. Brian Cooper, of course, here with us on Dr. Homebrew. And we were talking a little bit before the show, and apparently Brian Shar has some good news.
I do, as a matter of fact. I am now officially a Grandmaster 1 rank with the BJCP.
Wow. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you. That and $5 will get me a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
If that, man. And then Brian Cooper apparently has another set of good news that's sort of similar.
I haven't officially flipped the odometer yet, but I'm on my official record. It looks like I'm a few points away from it, and I've just proctored an exam. So once everything gets recorded, I should be hitting the same rank.
Grandmaster 1.
Should be Grandmaster.
Congratulations, you guys. You guys are both worked really hard on that, and I know it's something that you care about for some reason.
It's been a goal, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting the fez. And with the tassel, and hopefully also maybe as you advance levels, you get one of those little bikes.
I think you're talking about Shriners. If that's, wouldn't that be great if you?
No, my wife thinks. You're reaching Grand Poobah rank. Yeah. Okay, what does that entail, Brian?
That would be amazing if you thought it was the Shriners. Like, no, I'm pretty sure. Wait, you mean there's no parade? Like, what? You've been working this whole time in beer, and you're like, I don't even care.
I've been working my whole life for this, and everything in my mind is destroyed.
Only Gordon Strong gets the little car, though.
That's true.
Yeah, I suppose. Huh?
Man, that would be so amazing. Well, anyway, congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
And I would like to think that Dr. Homebrew has helped in some small way, insignificant way. We were talking about how to make Dr. Homebrew kind of count for BJCP, credit for you guys, but I don't know, maybe you don't need it anymore.
It's
maybe
the worst run competition in the country. What are you talking about?
It's like the rich getting richer over here.
Well, if anyone in the BJCP is listening, I think that Cooper here should get some special service GMSR points for all the years of talking about competitions and beer and BJCP. So BJCP folks, if you're listening, I think that Brian should probably go up to like a Grandmaster 2, like almost immediately.
Just shoot right up.
Points.
Yeah.
Just shoot right up, dude.
Gordon's listening, yeah. Write some new rules, buddy.
He's probably listening live right now. Come on.
I'm sure he does. I mean,
he's always in the chat room, that guy.
Oh, yeah. What is it, like 11 o'clock where he is?
We got to get him on the show sometime, too. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, man. Anything. I hit him up originally to be part of the show. as like a rotating guy, and I'm like, it's going to be impossible to ship beer to him. It's just, there's no way. And he was into it. So.
Did he do one at NHC one year or something with Nate? Wasn't there a show that you guys recorded? I couldn't make it that year, and that
was Nate and Gordon.
Yeah. So he's a part of the show.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
He's a regular.
He knows what's up. All right, today on the show we have 2 beers. Of course, we have a sour beer and a mint chocolate stout. Those
Imperial
are
Stout.
Mint Chocolate Imperial Stout. Those are definitely 2 things that don't necessarily go together in the same judging table, but I'm okay with it.
That's how we roll here at Dr. Homebrew.
That's right.
Mash them up, buddy.
That's right. Before we get Logan on the phone, who is our first contestant here, I want to thank 5 Star Chemicals. You go to 5starchemicals.com. They're a sponsor of this show, and you can learn about the different ways, means, and ends to means and means to ends of making sure that you brew better beer, cleaning, sanitizing, stuff like that, using 5 Star products. They're great people. They're all over the homebrew scene. They support homebrewers. They support this show. So please definitely make sure you support them.
They support the cleanliness of my growlers, everything, man.
Same. Absolutely.
Which, they'd be horrid without that PBW.
That's true.
And I like to get hoppy beers. I mean, I know how you feel about hoppy beers, but
no, I like hoppy beers. I just don't like high alcohol, unbalanced hoppy. Are you going to be done with that paper bag anytime soon?
I like high alcohol hoppy beers.
God bless. Logan, are you there?
I am. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm not gonna lie. This is like a mini dream of mine already now.
Oh, geez.
To be a part of the Brewing Network.
Oh, God. Well, hopefully that dream will end very soon because it's a nightmare.
The guy knocking at your door will bring the champagne and they'll pop the confetti.
That's right.
You got to dream bigger, Logan. Let me just tell you that right now.
I figure I start small and go from there.
Yeah. Well, it's like that scene in Coming to America. I used to start washing potatoes. Now I'm on fries. Or lettuce or whatever.
It's beef jerky time.
Soon I'll be on salads.
Yes.
All right, Logan. Well, hey, man, tell me, first of all, what beer did you send in and why?
I sent in the Imperial Mint Chocolate Stout.
Mainly
just because I really wanted to see how I'm doing. This is from my second batch of beer ever.
Wow.
That I personally brewed, yeah.
Wait, it's your second beer ever, but you went hard with an Imperial Chocolate Mint Stout already?
I figure you go big or go home, right?
Well, you're already at home, so you have to go big, I guess. That's...
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I mean, that's dude, mine was like a Cal Common or a brown ale or some shit. I could never imagine doing an Imperial anything, much less adding 2 different flavors in there. That's crazy.
I can definitely remember the urge
crazy.
To experiment a little bit and push some boundaries when I started brewing. It's like, we could brew a few classic styles, but it's kind of...
Yeah, but on batch 2?
Yeah.
Logan's insane.
I didn't know. I just haven't seen a lot of mint chocolate stouts out there, and so I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I kind of accidentally went Imperial.
Okay. Now we're talking my language here. Screwing up and make the best of it.
I'm not disappointed. So.
Well, that's good. All right, well, let's pour this beer here a little bit, and then let's talk a little bit more about you. So how long have you been homebrewing? Obviously not very long.
No, I started in September of 2008, or 2018, excuse me.
Okay, wow. So you are fresh.
Yeah, so very, very fresh, which is kind of why I'm pretty happy to be on the show. I've been listening to you guys for a while now, and it's just exciting for you guys to give me some feedback and, see how I'm doing, even though I've only kind of just started.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, this is probably the best judging pool that you're going to get, because when in any competition, are you ever going to get 2 grandmaster judges judging the same beer? No.
Rarely.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No. I was more asking the 2 other people on the radio with me, but they just sat there and looked at me. So
radio is an auditory and not a visual medium. Is that it? Logan, what got you excited about starting to homebrew?
Well, I've been into beer for a while. My first ever time in drinking, I was 21. I know I waited like some others don't.
Yes, you, quote, waited, unquote.
No, I did, actually.
Okay.
And a friend of mine lived in Germany at the time and took me out for a beer and taught me how to drink beer. And then I ended up learning more about the Cicerone program and started studying into that. And
oh, geez.
Yeah, and so I've actually gotten really into flavor profiles in beer, and I figure if I'm going to drink, I'm going to enjoy it. And
hell yeah, dude!
That kind of just started me on that road.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's get into this beer.
Why is that better than being a teenager at a party and getting handed an old mill light or something, and getting the real initiation you're supposed to get?
That's true.
Oh,
all right, who wants to start on this beer here, boys? Which Brian?
Oh, I could give it a start here.
All right, Brian Cooper.
This is Brian.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. So it had poured with it was a large hiss when we opened the bottle. We almost were a little worried it was going to gush out of there, but we poured it. It's a nice minty aroma, and it's got minty, chocolatey, and imperial stout base kind of coming through in tandem to me. It was this nice combination where nothing was too intense and nothing was hidden. So I like that. It seemed well balanced. Moderately fruity esters, pleasant. No real hops. No DMS. I didn't get any diacetyl or anything like that. But yeah, the malt is just a little chocolate, a little coffee-like, and then the chocolate also comes through with that. So I'm interested to hear when we get to what kind of chocolate you used and how you did that process. We'll get to that. A little bit of alcohol evident, but it's not too wow in your face. So it does definitely seem like a lighter imperial. Color-wise, it's a deep dark brown, nearly opaque. It's really hard to see, even to judge the clarity of the beer. It's pretty dark, but it's not black. It's just a really deep dark brown. There might be some haze in there that's making it somewhat opaque, but that's okay. Had a nicely formed head, tan-colored bubbles, mostly finer bubbles there. It stood up for a good long time, so the retention was nice. In the flavor, I get again richly malty. It's got some chocolate flavor, some good coffee-like notes. Moderate intensity and a smooth alcohol, pretty low. And then at that point in writing the score sheet, I belched a little bit, and I got the mintiness came right out at me, and that was kind of fun. I felt like it was a nice in the flavor. The mint's a little lower, like in the aroma, you get the mint right away. You get the chocolate a little below that, and then the stout base below that. And the flavor, it's kind of the opposite. It's more the mint comes through a little above, but it's not sharp or biting to me in any way, really. And some nice coffee and chocolate notes below that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a semi-sweet chocolate kind of flavor. It's a little drier, than some imperial stouts. Leave a little more sweetness in them. But just kind of flavor-wise, reminding me like mint chip ice cream combined with a dark beer. Like a mint chip ice cream beer float. It's something that I would never really think to combine, but now I'm thinking about trying it. Finishes.
You can't steal my ideas, bro.
Finishes semi-dry. Yeah, no, I'm not going to market this. I just, sometimes you hear a beer like, okay, this with that and something else, that's not going to work. But these flavors do go together pretty well, and you would imagine that they would. But hey, you did it. So, mouthfeel-wise, it's medium full-bodied with low, smooth. Alcohol warmth, somewhat creamy. There's not a whole lot of. There's no real astringency there. Carbonation is medium is okay. It's just pushing those flavors up. So we're talking about like when you get a 34C experimental beer, and is it going to be a hot mess? I'd say to me it's pretty it's pretty opposite of hot mess. It melds nicely. I would like a little more sweetness alongside the mint and the chocolate, just a bit. It could tolerate a bit more alcohol as well, just to be more as declared as an imperial stout. But to me, it works pretty well as is. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 37. I thought it was a very good beer.
Excellent. All right, Brian Scharr.
All right, so I will start this off with a little discussion about judging in general.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know,
Here we
it's
go.
crazy, right? Mint,
Oh, please do.
I have a weird relationship with mint. I love fresh mint. I love cooking with mint. I'm very particular about mint, and mint shows up in a lot of things, and I'm not happy with it. I'm very particular about toothpaste. I have to use like one particular toothpaste because other mint flavors I just don't like. And when you're judging, you've got to put that stuff aside. I mean, everyone has styles they like or don't like, ingredients they like or don't like. And you've got to just compartmentalize that in your head and find some way to deal with that, even if there's something you may have a little dislike of or pickiness about when, personally. So as a judge, you've got to do that, and entrants kind of need to be aware that sometimes, everyone's palate's a little bit different, and sometimes people don't always react real well to everything. So aroma, I think the mint is definitely dominant, which is good. It's supposed to be a mint chocolate imperial stout. The mint is pretty much dominant in the aroma. I get a little bit of an artificial mint quality to it, a little toothpaste-like. And when I'm done with the score sheet, I'll be curious to hear the details about how you went about adding the mint. Got a low roasted malt character. It is somewhat chocolatey, and a low woody hop aroma. I think the hops went really well with the malt. Even mint aside, I think with hoppy dark beers, hop selection can be really problematic. The C hops don't typically play well with dark malt, for example. So trying to find a hop, hitting on a hop that actually works with a roasted malt is a good thing, and you really managed to nail that. The hop really goes along well with that roast. There's no off aromas, no diacetyl, nothing like that. It gave it an 8 for aroma. Appearance, it's almost black. Can't tell how clear it is because it's so dark. Head is low and persistent. That's 3 out of 3. In the flavor, the mint is not quite as dominant as in the aroma. It does lead off the flavor. And then the roast malt takes over to kind of balance against the mint. There is some chocolate character, medium hop bitterness, which I thought was really nice, and then sort of that low woody hop flavor. And again, that hop flavor really goes along well with the roast malt. That was an excellent choice, and that's really harmonious, which is tough to do in this beer. It's well attenuated. Also, surprised, given this is your second beer ever, that you made something imperial and got it well attenuated. Is good job. That's well done. Balance is toward the malt.
Thank you.
The finish is long and minty and roasty. Gave it a 10 out of 20. Mouthfeel, 5 out of 5. Body is medium to full. Carbonation's medium. It's got some warming character to it. It's creamy. Really hits everything it's supposed to hit for mouthfeel. Overall impression, the mint character for me was a little toothpastey and was perhaps a little too aggressive compared to the chocolate in this beer. And maybe that's just the interaction. Roast malt. Ingredients, when you combine them with roast malt, can be kind of problematic, and you don't always know that until you combine them.
Right.
Roast malt tends to have a little bit of that. It's got a little bit of that phenol to it, a little bit of that that roast character, and it can amplify or de-amplify things in ways you may not quite expect when you write a recipe. Dark malt can be weird that way. I would, and I'm curious to hear how you added the mint, if you boiled it or sort of, quote, dry minted it. But I gave it a 6 for overall impression. And total was a 32. I thought it was well done, especially knowing this is your second beer ever. Man, your process, you have your process down, and you're doing a good job with all your fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, Logan, let's talk about your beer a little bit if you want to hit your recipe up, and you can answer some of the questions the guys asked, like how you added the mint. I agree. Kind of, I'm in both camps of you guys. I think everything worked really well, but the mint is kind of the last pokey thing out. You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird. But anyway, give us your recipe if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Let me pull it up real fast. I actually used fresh mint. I used 3 3/4 ounces of fresh mint. And I did dry hop it or dry mint it, if you will, for about 5 days. I bruised the mint in a muddle and then threw it in. So that was kind of fun. As far as the recipe goes.
Yeah. What kind of mint? Just garden variety grocery store mint, or like you'd put in a, I don't know, mojito or something?
I actually, well, no, I went and got fresh mint leaves from like a fresh market here.
Cool. That's a good way to go for sure.
Yeah, and then I did 8 ounces of 2-row, a pound of chocolate, 2 pounds of Crystal 60. I did 8 ounces of roasted barley, and then I actually did a partial mash. So the rest of it's all DME. I did a pound of extra special or extra dark, 3 pounds of dark, 1 pound of light dry malt extract, and then 2 pounds of amber. I did 1 ounce of Fuggles, U.S. Fuggles, and 1 ounce of Cascade in the boil at 60 minutes. And then at 10 minutes, I added semi-sweet baker's chocolate. I added 8 ounces of that. And then I used, for my yeast, I did a packet of the Safe Ale USO4, so the English ale. And I just rehydrated it and pitched it.
Yeah, so the chocolate, baker's chocolate right into the boil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Was there a reason you used so many different colors of DME?
Honestly, I just kind of wanted to have some fun with it. And I honestly was only going to do like dark and amber, but I had a pound of the light DME left over. And because when I ordered my DME, I didn't get it from my local homebrew shop. Not that I don't love my local homebrew shop. It's just they didn't have everything that I wanted or that I was looking for. So they, when I got my original DME, one of the bags had ripped open, so they sent me an extra bag of the extra special darks as a sorry for your package kind of ripping. So
right, well, that was nice of them.
I just kind of threw that in as well.
It's like what you had around that day. Yeah, cool. Well,
the gravity.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're doing interesting things for so early in your brewing for sure. What did the gravity hit there?
The original gravity started at a 1081, 1082. I did not expect that at all. I was shooting for 1065.
Yeah.
So.
All that DME, man, will throw you.
Yep, and then it threw back down to it came all the way down to like a 1025 to 1024.
Yeah.
So it attenuated very nicely. I did use a yeast nutrient. And I'm trying to remember. I have the package somewhere around here. I'll email it to you or something. I use a yeast nutrient to kind of help the yeast because I knew there was a lot of sugar in there.
Yeah,
sure.
Was it like a diammonium phosphate or was it like a nutrient blend of some sort? Maybe.
I think it was diammonium phosphate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah. A little extra nitrogen source for the. In a beer like this, your yeast should have. Well, I mean, it'll help it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that the stuff you can make?
I figured anything can help.
On the watch list for diammonium phosphate.
Yeah, if you buy more than 2 ounces, you're on the list.
Oh man.
Well, what do you guys think of Logan's recipe? Something we can kind of tweak to maybe coax it in a different direction?
A little complex. You could simplify it a little bit. To please Brian, you could pull back the mint a little bit and maybe try 4 days next time instead of 5, and it might be less dominant. I think your starting and finishing gravities are actually pretty nice. I would have liked a little more sweetness in it, but it's kind of a big beer and it expresses itself. There's so much else going on that it's kind of it's at 10:24 finishing. Yeah, it could be. It should feel a little sweeter to me, but
yeah, I was gonna try and do like a sweet stout, but my one of my best friends who brews, who he and I are both kind of in this brewing process together. He wasn't able to meet me for this one, but we had decided not to do like a sweet stout because a lot of sweet stouts you do lactose with it, and he's lactose intolerant. So we kind of did a chocolate stout without some lactose. So I tried to do something. I tried to get it as sweet as I possibly could without going too far.
Yeah. I would agree with Brian. I would back off the dry minting maybe to 4 days because it's. I think maybe that's just the issue. I mean, it is fresh, and as it's warmed up, it's what I was perceiving as kind of a toothpaste-like character is kind of going away, but it's very intense compared to the chocolate. Another thing that I would do is, personally, I don't like using dark DME because you're not entirely sure what's in it. It's not a matter of whether it's a reputable supplier or not. You just don't know from a flavor standpoint. I mean, it's not what's in it in the sense of, it's, licorice and, beetle dung or something. No, it's just more like you don't know what malt did they use, what kind of roast malt, why is it dark. I prefer the light malt. And then you're already doing a partial mash. Use the partial mash to get your darker malts, to get the color and the flavor. And what I would do, I love chocolate malt. I do a Christmas stout every year. I have for 20 years, aside from this year. And I've driven that as the years go by. I do a 10-gallon batch, and I'll put 3-4 pounds of chocolate malt in there. It's a lot. I wouldn't recommend going necessarily something that high.
Right.
But, I mean, to me, if you want chocolate, you want to use so you use chocolate malt, use pale chocolate, something like that. And that will help drive your chocolate flavor. Continue to use the baking chocolate. That's a great idea.
Sure, fine, yeah.
But I think I would, if you're trying to drive it to be a little more balanced between the mint and the chocolate, if you use light DME, use some chocolate malt, back off on the dry minting a little, and I think it will be significantly more balanced between the mint and the chocolate.
Yeah, I agree. And just to confuse things more, I would even back off on the chocolate and shift maybe even half of it to pale chocolate. Because you kind of, for me, the mint and the light roast character at the end clash. And that's, I think, was the obtuse part of it. So, if it were me, I would go all pale chocolate. I would maybe even do the mint 3 days. Because there is, for me, kind of a green stem of the mint plant or whatever quality to it, and maybe that's not in there, but anyway, that's kind of what I'm assuming or perceiving.
Plant matter like flavors.
Yeah, and then maybe even just try cocoa nibs also and age them on cocoa nibs for a bit instead of doing the chocolate, because I don't know if I would have ever known that there was actual chocolate in here, because for me, pale chocolate comes off as chocolate. Comes off chocolatey and creamy. But so, again, just to make things even more convoluted, which, welcome to homebrewing, dude. If you want to do one thing, there's 12 different people telling you how to do 15 different things.
Well, JP loves his nibs, too. So.
I do. I love nibs, and I love pale chocolate. I think they're awesome. But that's my recommendation, to back off a little bit on the kind of astringent, acrid malt. But then that's my problem with my oatmeal stout and why it never wins anything beyond second round or beyond first round is it doesn't have that stout quality, which is that kind of acrid malt. So,
or you have some judges that don't know what they're judging.
Well, that more than anything. But anyway, Logan, do you have any questions for the guys based on all that bull crap we just shouted at you?
No, that's one of the best parts about this being recorded is I get to go back and listen to you guys.
You're like, I'm not paying attention at all, dude.
No, I'm totally paying attention.
I'm kidding.
No, I'm paying attention, obviously, but it just helps. Something that is probably going to be a little easier to answer, but this is going to be my last partial mash. I'm literally about to dive into all grain.
Hell yeah,
and I've got a wit beer I'm about to do in a couple weeks.
Great.
So,
that's a great style.
Yeah. So how would I convert this over to a all grain if you were to convert it yourselves?
I used to know that calculation, man. I think it's 7 points difference between liquid malt extract and 7 points per pound, I think, is what it is.
Or you could use Beersmith.
Or you can use a Beersmith, yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need to up the pounds of the malt because, the extract is just, a lot of sugar, and the malt, you have husks and other weight in there too, so it's like it's, 1.125 times the weight of the DME.
I'm going to go on More Beer and look it up because
there's converters.
I know. I think it is 7 points per pound of liquid malt extract, and I think it might be more for dry malt extract. So definitely check it out. But what Shar was saying earlier about the color, you're going to need to really massage the color on this a lot because you're accounting for all that DME that already had the crystal malts or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. And while JP's looking that up, I applaud you for making a wit beer. It's a great style. It's very tasty. But it's a challenging style to brew all grain because there's so much wheat. Be sure you use rice hulls. Get a pound or two of rice hulls in there. Otherwise, you run the risk of sticking your mash. That wheat can get really gummy and thick, and depending what temperature you mash at. I've had occasional problems with wit beer if I don't use rice hulls. And then you're kind of stuck with maybe you have to sparge early. That 170-degree sparge water will often kind of help loosen up that brick that you can get sometimes with wheat. But it's something, man, you're doing stuff the hard way in some ways, and I applaud your initiative to go out and just make a wit beer and make it happen.
Yeah, the internet is telling me it's 0.6 pounds of DME for every pound of two-row.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, as far as the mash and everything, I'm actually doing brew in a bag kind of things.
Cool.
Because I only have one burner.
I'd still put some rice hulls. You put some rice hulls in that bag. I worry that even with brew in a bag, you're going to lift. You're maybe not going to get full wetting, or you're going to lift it up, and you're going to have a bunch of water stuck in that bag.
Everything from the outside will drip off, and then inside will just be solid chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was going to say too about this beer. It's it's nice, even despite the fat content in the chocolate, that the head didn't fall flat. It lasted a good long time.
Yeah,
I noticed there's maybe a little bit of sediment in the beer. You might work on settling things out or maybe clarifying a bit. So
I bottle conditioned.
Okay.
Because I don't have apartment complex struggles. Yay! Yeah. I don't have the ability to do kegging or anything just yet.
Yeah. That's okay.
But I feel like I did priming tabs, so I don't do priming sugar. I actually buy the tabs themselves, and I can kind of regulate it that way, the little drops. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's just an easy way for me to regulate the carbonation without over gunking my beer or making it overly sweet or adding like honey or
Yeah.
For sure. All right, Logan. Hey, man, we're going to let you go, but I really appreciate you sending in the beer and for your second batch. Hell, dude, for your 50th batch, you did a pretty good job.
You keep it going.
Yeah, Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Will do.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you.
All right, goodbye.
All right, later. Cheers. Cool. Yeah, man, not bad. I was pretty surprised. I wish I was making good beer. My second batch, dude. Still, for God's sakes, man. My beer's terrible.
To go back to that second batch and think about how awful mine was, oh, Jesus. I can't even.
I still remember my first one. It was just bottle gushers, dude. Just sour and like... I couldn't even blame it on any sort of like bottle wand contamination or plastic. I mean, just terrible. Anyway, you know what sucked about my brewing was my water, and you know what could have helped is the iDip. It's the Smart Brew water testing kit and incorporates a photometer system, which is revolutionary and the first and only one on the market with its own app. It's for home or commercial use, the only meter on the market that runs water tests with no math needed on your part. You let the machine do it, and that's really what we're all about here on Dr. Homebrew and the Brewing Network in general, being ruled by robots, which is why the Terminator isn't a horror movie so much as just what we have to look forward to. Yeah. It can test for over 40 different water quality tests like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, and more. Go to smartbrewkit.com, enter TBN10 at checkout, and that will get you $10 off on either the standard or advanced Smart Brew testing kit.
I look forward to my iDip deciding whether I live or die.
Yeah, every day take a blood sample. iDip, live. All right, hell yeah, dude. I'm going to watch cartoons.
Be nice to it.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to drink a sour beer, and it's going to be great. It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang on.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We're about to pour a sour beer here from Vaughan, who was on a show, I think, a couple of months ago, right, Brian?
Yeah, he hopped on a couple shows ago, yeah.
Nice. Well, unfortunately, it's my fault. I didn't let him know that tonight was going to be the show, so I do not have him on the line, but we do have his beer in front of us. If one of you handsome young men wouldn't mind pouring some of that while I talk about Grog Tag. Grog Tag is your one-stop homebrew customization shop. They have it all from reusable beer and wine labels to durable metal signs, high-quality coasters, and everything they have is customizable. So get creative over on grogtag.com with one of their hundreds of templates, and they'll print it on high-quality materials and ship it out to you. It's easy. Check out grogtag.com today and use code BNARMY to save 10% on your next order. Or, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a secret, guys. If you want to save 25% on some templates, not everything, they have beta.grogtag.com, the beta site they've been working on for, a year and a half now. It's finally up. They have a brand new label editor. They have a brand new everything, brand new interface. Everything's faster. It renders super quick. And if you use the beta site, like I said, they don't have all the templates up, but you take 25% off. It's automatic.
Dude, I can break any software, and that's a promise. So I should go on their beta site, because if anyone's going to break that, I'm going to break the hell out of that.
Please do. Do it. Beta.grogtag.com saves you 25% on your order. And, a lot of the holiday ones are up. And, look, if anyone's listening live, I think they're doing free overnight shipping. If you order by the 20th, which is tomorrow, it'll ship, it'll be upgraded, and you'll get it. Not free, but, you'll get it before Christmas, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you have anything that you need to gift, it's look, if you order on Amazon Prime right now, you're not going to get it before Christmas.
I haven't bought any of that. Everybody's getting one of those for Christmas. Everybody on my list.
A Grog Tag?
Yep, Grog Tags for everybody.
Hell yeah. All right, we got a sour beer. Do you guys know anything about the sour beer?
This is a Catharina Sour, and Brian and I were looking this up before the show as we were judging this. So this is one of the specialty styles, but it's also in the 2015 guidelines something that's called a local style. For those following along at home, if you look at the 2015 guidelines, there is under local styles, which is an X. This is an X4. So
an X4.
It's an X4. Catharina. It's a 4X. It's not just triple X. This is 4X.
Yeah.
This is how dirty this is. This is a 4X beer.
Hell yeah.
So it's a Catharina Sour because it apparently was invented in 2015 in the state of Santa Catarina in Brazil. It was a collaboration between homebrewers and pro brewers to make something drinkable and sour like a Berliner Weiss, but also incorporated local ingredients.
Okay.
So it's like a stronger Berliner Weiss that has local fruits. And I guess depending on it's Brazil, so I don't know what local fruits you have in Brazil. Probably like
cocaine leaves.
That's isn't that Peru or some shit?
It's all over, man.
But I mean, it's Brazil. So they probably have like 40 fruits you've never heard of that are super tasty.
Yeah,
and then like every fruit you could get at Safeway. So pretty much whatever you feel like putting in your beer that's a fruit is probably good for a Catharina Sour. But the fruit should be very predominant in the aroma and the flavor.
Okay, interesting.
Was that, Brian, kind of accurate based on what we discussed? I kind of did that by memory.
This style is pretty new to me as well, and I've never been to Brazil.
I had never heard about this. I thought it was just like the name of his beer, the Catharina Sour.
Honoring my mom, Catharina.
No, it's called Sour Patch Kids.
With a Z.
With a Z, yeah. No, but it's
that's X7.
Yeah,
it's true.
Think of this beer as a light, refreshing wheat ale with a clean lactic sourness balanced by a fresh fruit addition. Like you definitely want the fruit to be dominant.
Yeah,
it's low bitterness, kind of. Yeah,
and it is wheat. That was an important thing that I left out. So it should be like a wheat predominant,
and it should be carbonated, quite carbonated.
Cool.
Too,
I'm excited to try a beer I've literally never had or heard of before. Which is, hey man, God bless homebrewers.
X4.
Okay. All right, Brian Shar, Mr. Grandmaster 1.
Well, let's do this thing.
Let's go.
I was excited to try this, too, because I've never had a Catharina Sour. And this is a passion fruit. The fruit here is passion fruit. Special ingredients, the yeast, the bacteria, are good belly. And if you've ever listened to the Sour Hour, which is another fine show on this fine network, there is discussion from time to time about using good belly as a source of bacteria for brewing. And it works really well with this beer. And the aroma, the passion fruit really dominates the aroma, which is quite an achievement because, to me, passion fruit often doesn't really taste or smell like much of anything. So it's it actually is very pleasant, very distinctively passion fruit. No hops, sort of a low Pils malts character to the extent you smell the malt. No diacetyl, no off aromas. I mean, it's supposed to be a fruit-dominated aroma, and that's definitely what this is. So I gave that a 9 out of 12. Appearance, it's crystal clear. I mean, I've almost never seen a beer this clear. I mean, it's pretty astounding. I've got an inch of it in my glass, and I can hold it several inches away from the score sheet, and I can still read through that, and that's pretty astounding. The head is extremely low, and it didn't persist all that long. Color's very light gold with the hints of pink. I gave it a 2 out of 3 primarily because of the lack of head. Flavor is dominated by the passion fruit. There's some lactic acid that immediately comes up to more than balance, that kind of sour citrus character. It's a tart follow-up that almost gives it kind of a sweet tart type of character. It's not sweet at all, but the fruit, the passion fruit, gives you kind of that hint of sweet, and then that lactic comes up and gives you the tart. It's a really nice balance.
And it's a little chalky, like a sweet tart. To me, on the back, like just a little bit of minerality, which is, to me, what I get more out of the sweet tart. It is.
Yeah, I totally. Now that you mention that, I totally get that.
I ruined it for you.
No, it's. Maybe you've talked me into it, but I definitely. It's probably why I was thinking sweet tart, right?
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
Partly it's that texture,
yeah.
Right? And maybe it's silly, but I don't think it is. Part of the sweet tart is the texture. Like I was on a road trip to L.A. for Thanksgiving with my daughter to see my parents, and we stopped for snacks. And I get sweet tarts. We get in the car, and it's some kind of soft sweet tart bullshit.
Oh, no, that's never good, dude.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I was so disappointed because I wanted sweet tarts, and I got this kind of soft nonsense. And that's not what you want.
No.
But real sweet tarts, I totally get that little bit of that chalkiness. This is not a face ripper in terms of sour, but it's definitely firmly sour. Which I really like the level of sourness in this beer. No hop flavor or bitterness, which seems to be acceptable for the style. I mean, there's some bitterness in here, obviously, but it's so that the sourness and the fruit just kind of steamroll any of the low level of bitterness that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
There's low malt character. Finish is medium in terms of its duration. It's dominated by a lactic/citrus sour. Give it a 14 out of 20 for flavor. Mouthfeel, body is low with very low carbonation. The carbonation does seem higher than it actually is due to the lactic acid bite, but it's not astringent, not warming or creamy. I give it 4 out of 5 for mouthfeel. I've never had, for overall impression, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I've never had a Catharina Sour, but I want more of this now. Someone needs to import this in the U.S., right? You start making this or something.
Absolutely.
It's well made. It really shows off the fruit. I think really the only flaw in this beer, which is very clean and I think very well done, is that it's just undercarbonated. This style, according to the guidelines, never having had one, according to the guidelines, it should be more carbonated than it is. And I think that would enhance this beer quite a bit. I mean, the passion fruit really marries well with this lactic sourness. And it's, the sourness, to have just that clean lactic, it's not funky. There's no Brett in here that I could tell. I don't get funkiness out of this. It's a very... It's lactic sour. It's citrus. I mean, it's kind of a one-note sourness on the one hand.
Yeah.
But it's that one-note sourness that really goes well with the passion fruit. So it's really well done. Gave this a 37 out of 50. Really like this. And I'm probably going to sit here and drink some more while Brian is talking about his score sheet. Well, no, let's omit probably and say I'm definitely going to drink some more of this while Brian's talking about it.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Okay. You should.
Go ahead, Brian.
Catharina, thanks for sending this, Vaughan. This is a fun little beer to try. I'd never had one either. In the aroma, it is quite fruity and has a pleasant tropical passion fruit character right up front. That's nice. In the aroma, it's a light sour character, no acetic, just nice clean lactic. Clean and kind of ghost like. I got almost. I might have been imagining because I can't really smell salt, but like kind of a salty sea air impression, or like you're sitting by a tropical tree on the beach, kind of just a nice, clean, breezy kind of aroma. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, no, it does. And maybe like
like some gozes have that,
or like if you eat too much salt and it's like tart.
Yeah,
maybe it's that kind of thing.
So I wonder if this is going to be salty.
Now that you mentioned that, I get a little hint of saltiness.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good one, Brian.
Just bright tropical fruit esters. No funk here, and it shouldn't have any of that. I did come back and get a very, very faint a THP. I'm not getting any ethyl acetate or anything else gnarly in there. It's just, it's a nice clean sour with all lactic. But, the appearance is cool. It's a peachy, light gold colored, and I gave it full points for appearance even though it didn't really have a head that much. That it faded pretty quick. But
the color was cool?
Yeah, it's like
kind of cool.
It's a peachy colored, light gold color, and just brilliantly clear, yeah. Low white foam stand, fine bubbles. Not long lasting. And the sourness can cut the head down a little bit too, so that's fine. It just fades to a little color around the edge. Yeah, soon after pouring. Flavor wise, it's nice and fruity up front. That tropical fruit comes right through. The passion fruit, of course, specifically.
Yeah.
Low maltiness, kind of generic maltiness in there. It's not like there's a big malty beer. No obvious hop bitterness, and again pleasantly sour. Just a clean lactic quality. It finishes nice, dry, and tart, but it doesn't, again, melt your face off, as Brian suggested. And in the aftertaste, it does, the passion fruit does linger in the aftertaste, but then as that last, finish dries off, the light THP starts to come through in there. It tastes like THP tastes like Cheerios. It's something you can look it up on Milk the Funk. It's tetrahydropyridine. I believe it's caused by you want to keep oxygen out of your sour beers after they're as much as you can. I think it's oxygen related, but they got all the pathways here. You go to Milk the Funk wiki and you can read 10 pages about it. But you ask a dozen different sour brewers and you get a dozen different answers how to remove it. So I'm not quite sure, but it is something that will age out. So this could get better with time and it'll drop out. And again, it's just late in the flavor, so. it's really still very pleasant to drink, and that's kind of a fine point. There's kind of a sharp quality to the sourness. It does, which leads into the mouthfeel. It's got a pleasantly biting, kind of sharp quality. It just has a nice little attack, even despite not having a lot of carbonation. The carbonation is pretty low. It definitely needs more there. No warmth from the alcohol. Just a light-bodied and refreshing beer, and no astringency. So, yeah, overall, it's a very pleasant drinking Catharina Sour. Makes me want to try more of them as well. I would score it higher with the removal of that light THP and bumping up the carbonation a fair amount, and maybe even you could bump up the fruit even a little bit more. It should really be very fruit dominant. I'd say it's substantially fruit dominant, but there's some other things poking through here. Maybe just pulling the THP away will let that fruit shine through a little more brightly too. But I gave it a 34. I thought it's a very good beer, and just light little, very fine points on the flaw that I detected there. But yeah, it's super fun beer. I enjoy it, and it looks great. So thanks for sending it, Vaughan.
Cool. I agree with Brian about the THP. I definitely get that also. I think it doesn't bother me as much. Sometimes I've had examples that are super THP, and in that case, I'm like, wow, they're just undrinkable. But a question, and Brian, this might be more of a sour hour type question. You know a lot more about sours than I do. If there were more carbonation, would it be something that would drive off the THP in the glass, or is it not that kind of compound? Is it not a volatile? Do you know? I'm just not familiar enough with chemistry to know that.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, yeah, it's too complex. We'll punt that to the sour hour or to milk the funk or something.
It is, but yeah, I agree with you though. The lightness of it comes across as kind of a bready or a cereal-like kind of character. That's not too far off from malt flavors that it's like, well, there's a little maltiness in there. Like, wait, no, that's THP. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's a little like...
It's kind of like a one-dimensional...
Captain Crunch, Cheerios kind of thing in there. Just real light.
Let's not defame Captain Crunch here. Captain Crunch is a fine cereal that...
He's done a lot for the roof of my mouth.
Exactly.
All right, well, hey, man, I wish you had Vaughan on to talk about it a little bit, because it is a very interesting beer.
It was, yeah. We'll
I
chat
enjoyed
with
it.
that guy again sometime, I'm sure.
It's almost a little too tart. I don't know. I want a little more malt, a little more sweetness maybe in there, just a little bit.
Maybe. I'd be curious. He should drop us a postal letter by, handwritten.
Like a P.O. box.
Yes.
Snail mail.
Yeah. All right, well, hey, let's take a break real fast, our last break, and then we'll give away a Grog Tag gift certificate, and then we're going to get out of here. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
Do you know the three most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right. Thanks for waiting, everybody.
Yep.
Before we get to our winner, or I guess our second place winner, I want to let you guys know that More Beer wants you to change your malt game with Viking Malt. Speaking of malt, hailing from Northern Europe, Viking Malt is a family-owned malt house since 1883 and is the largest specialty malt producer in the world. Their base malts are malted from null-lox varietals that do not contain the enzyme lipooxygenase, which leads to trans-2-nonenal in beer, which is responsible for those stale cardboard flavors. So head over to morebeer.com and brew with ingredients from the future. All right, boys. Who wins our $40 At Least Your Beer Will Look Good grogtag.com gift certificate? Ready, go.
That would be the new guy, Mr. Logan.
Oh.
Yeah, but we had a really good neck and neck, almost kind of scoring today. We're both pretty good. Brian and I kind of flipped on them, but overall we scored Vaughan's a little higher. So
okay, Logan, good job, dude. Congratulations.
Nice.
Thanks for sending in.
Race.
Yeah, thanks for sending in that beer, and thanks for starting to homebrew and listening to the show and all the dumb stuff that I'm supposed to say right now.
We're talking more about the THP on the break too, and I was going to say I don't think it blows off. I think it's a little heavier component that stays in there. But one thing that is interesting about it is the reason that you taste it late in the flavor is like it's more apparent at a higher pH. So as the sour beer in your mouth is lower, and the reason that's kind of hard to taste in beer and wine sometimes, and some people just don't get it, is that it's really sour. You don't get the taste as much, and then as the pH in your mouth naturally goes up, as that taste dries off, that flavor comes out. So you get that little cherry. They call it mouse taint in wine.
Mouse taint, yeah, dude.
So it's the same thing. But cool. Yeah, check out Milk the Funk's got a ton of information about it.
It's pretty fascinating.
Hell yeah. All right, boys. Once again, great show, great information. Thanks to Vaughan and Logan for sending in some beers. And if you're listening live, hang on for, 5-10 minutes, and we'll be right back with another episode of someone live in studio, a live human being.
What?
Yeah, it'll be
no robots.
It'll be a good time. Yeah, no robots.
Damn it, where are our future overlords?
They're coming. They're being built right now.
All right.
But anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. And until next time, be good to each other.